Welcome to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast, where we explore personal, professional, and financial success stories of top achievers. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Pathways to Prosperity for Entrepreneurs, where we spotlight leaders making a lasting impact. Today, we're joined with Sean, a distinguished attorney, entrepreneur, and public servant, a founder of the Sean Harrison Associates and Medical Collections Group. Sean has built a successful business while also shaping public policies in healthcare, elderly protection, and legal reform with his tenure with the Florida House of Representatives. Join us as he shares his insights in business growth of law and public service. So how you doing, Sean? How has everything been?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I'm actually feeling a little bit better. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, while you're down in the Tampa area. How's the weather over there so far?
It's typical Florida, end of the winter, it's starting to get warm again. We're starting to get some rain showers coming in, but it's this is paradise. So we're all used to it and we all enjoy our Florida surroundings.
Are you excited for the spring breakers to come down in Tampa area?
Not really. Not at my age. That was something that was fun back, about 40 years ago for me, but that's look, Florida has a lot to offer, obviously, and spring break is part of our history here.
Right.
So we don't really get many in Tampa. We go to the beaches, obviously, but everybody's sort of getting ready for the onslaught.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Miami's been posting like their videos saying, "Hey, just don't come here. Just stay over there in your own area." So.
Yeah, they've had some issues with I think the crowd's getting a little rowdy down there.
Oh, yeah.
So I think some of the businesses are starting to, it's a double-edged sword, really. It's great for the economy, but it can also be problematic, I think, for other tourists or whatever. So they'll figure it out.
Yeah, eventually, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't mind me asking, can you possibly give our viewers a quick snapshot of like your business and like what it does? I know some people hear, collections or medical law. So I really want to shape them that picture that you can.
Sure. So there's really two businesses, but they're all they're intertwined and they serve the same profession. So I started my legal career back in 1990 at a medium-sized firm in Tampa, and we at the time. I was assigned to the insurance defense department of our firm, and I didn't care for it much. And so I had an opportunity to move more into the commercial litigation side of our firm. And in that book of business was a nursing home in Tampa, just a single nursing home in Tampa. And I got to know them and got familiar with their business and how everything worked, especially on the business side of the profession. And the administrator of the facility told me, if you can do this for us, you can do this for every nursing home in Florida and probably everyone in the country. And so I thought, well, that sounds like quite an interesting challenge for a young attorney. And young lawyers in their 20s aren't really expected to go out and come up with bright ideas about generating business or anything like that. They're just supposed to go grind out the hour.
Right.
And that's not anything that's ever really been within my personality. So I started thinking, how do I really take her word, take her up on that offer. Right. And so I started doing the same type of work, which was collecting receivables, filing probate actions, things of that nature that helped the business side of the long-term care profession. And it grew to her whole company. And then it grew beyond her company. And it just sort of took off because there wasn't anyone else really in Florida that was specializing in this area. And so I just sort of grew it from there, and it grew sort of naturally. There's not much money that we put into marketing or anything like that. It just kind of grows organically. And I had the added benefit of my wife also being an attorney, and she was the managing attorney for a large mortgage foreclosure firm. And so she was used to this concept of doing the exact same type of work over and over and over again and doing it efficiently, as opposed to being sort of a generalist attorney where you did a little bit of everything for a small amount of clients. You do the same thing exactly for a large amount of clients. And I took that sort of her advice on how to gear this up, and lo and behold, it just grew. And today, my law practice is nationwide, and we probably represent at any given time probably about 2,000 nursing homes across the country. Now, that's a pretty good number because there's only 16,000 total in the country. So we've got at any time about 10%, 10 to 12% of the entire universe, and we do that with no marketing, wow. No expenditures into that realm. It just kind of grows organically. So that is the beginning. That was the law firm beginning, Sean Harris and Associates. And I was with other firms over my career, and about 10 years decided to just go ahead and branch out on my own. But the other business I have, which has really been able to sort of feed my entrepreneurial desire, is a company I started called Medical Collection Group. And Medical Collection Group really grew out of my law practice, but it took into account the fact that, at least in Florida, law firms are really restricted on the type of advertising they can do.
Really?
And yes, and people don't really think that, right? They see billboards everywhere for personal injury lawyers, and they think, well, how is it possible that there's any restrictions on advertising? But in reality, in Florida, you can advertise to the masses like that on billboards, but you can't advertise to a specific industry with a very limited sort of marketing. So I've tried to figure out a way, how can I, get around that, because I need to be able to at least get the word out about the business. So I formed this company called Medical Collection Group, which is not a law firm. It's just an LLC, and we weren't restricted on those advertising requirements. So that it kind of grew that way. And Medical Collection Group was really just me, and then I was having dinner one night with some clients, and they asked me kind of an odd question pointed at somebody that was making money from their services, but they said, "How do we stop paying you? We're paying you way too much money."
You're confused. Like, what do you mean?
Right, exactly. To try to collect bad debts for people that owe money to our facilities. And I said, well, that's simple. You just got to admit better people. And they said, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, you're in a service where, you're providing a very expensive place to live for people. And what do you do about, like, do you do any sort of credit check or any sort of background check or anything like that, where you can determine if this person is going to be a credit risk for you, and you're not going to get paid? Right. And so that's kind of what I meant by it. And they said, no, we don't do anything like that. I thought to myself, well, that's crazy. You can't go buy a $500 sofa on credit from Rooms to Go without a credit check or some sort of background check or whatever. And so I just put my thinking cap on and said, how can I sort of help with this? And then I came up with the idea for Medical Collection Group really expanding just beyond being sort of the marketing arm for the firm. And so what it developed into was a asset screening and background screening product for the nursing home world. And it has an application well beyond nursing homes, long-term care facilities, doctors, hospitals. But the idea is, if you're going to be admitting a resident into your long-term care facility, and they could possibly be there for years, and these are not cheap places to be. Some private pay rates are $10,000 a month for nursing homes. So there ought to be some due diligence done, it would seem, at the beginning. So you kind of know what you're getting into with this relationship. And they didn't do anything like that. So I created this product, and it sort of took off on its own. And I decided to turn it over to my wife, who had experience, like I said, sort of in
Right.
this realm after our son was born, and she had stopped working. And I said, I'm kind of the idea guy here. I
Hmm.
don't really want to implement it. You know how to do this. You know how to manage large practices and things like that. And I don't really. I'm just a bright idea
You're the
guy.
bright, yeah, you're the
Yeah,
brains,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so she took it. Now she runs it, and we've got like 30 employees nationwide, and we provide this background screening product for long-term care facilities. So that's a long-winded answer to how I kind of got my start.
No, I mean that's I didn't realize like you said, like I didn't realize that law firms or groups didn't have that ability to advertise more than they want to. Like I see a bus that says, "Oh, hey, this is you're in an accident. Here we are." I didn't realize that you couldn't do it specifically to a specific mass, and I love the fact that you use that loophole for the LLC, and then it grew. There's something that's like nationwide. Wow, it's you not only made one but two businesses that are pretty successful, and not only successful, but you're also ahead of what we call in my industry the super tsunami. Right, we're not even hitting into the we're only hitting the silent generation now. Now we're hitting the boomers. So I know that you're setting yourself up for more success, and I love that. I love the fact that you set yourself up in the facilities, and now I mean it's gonna be crazy. In the next 5 years.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's we are an aging population for sure.
Mhm.
People are healthier as they get older.
Yeah,
They're living longer. And Florida is at the forefront of the retiree,
yeah.
locations for in the country. So it's definitely got nothing but upside potential on growth. I didn't, when I started it, I was a younger man with no gray hair. And I never really saw myself kind of being somebody that might be involved on a more personal level in this world.
Mhm.
But the day is coming. I'm right on the cusp of the boomer and the Gen Xers. So my retirement days are not too far down the road in the future.
No, I mean the the sharp mind you have right now, it tells me that you're going to be you won't be part of the people in the assisted living facilities. You're going to have your own space. I love that.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. And that's a really a good point.
Yeah.
As we are growing, our aging population is growing. States are sort of wrestling with how do we
Hmm.
are there ways to treat elderly folks who don't necessarily have to be in nursing homes, but are maybe a little bit beyond being able to stay at home.
Right.
And so things like home health care and
Yeah.
Medicaid alternatives are really things that states are implementing so that we can provide government assistance to people that need it, but they don't need to be institutionalized in nursing homes if they don't need that kind of 24/7 care.
I think that when people see nursing homes, the facilities, they think of like those big boxes that are going to be like 1,000+ feet, and I know that the new age or like the new model now is going to be more of for the homes, like the residential homes. Residential assisted living homes are now popping up. I'm in Phoenix, and it's pretty much everywhere you go, right? They look like a regular home, so one story, and now they're implementing, essentially making it more unique or boutique.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. And there's a reason for that, and that is because of the regulations involved in each one of those industries.
yeah,
So, nursing homes, as you can imagine, people are there 24/7. They require skilled care around the clock, very expensive, very intensive type of healthcare. And they are highly, highly regulated, and
yeah,
for good reason, right? Um, Assisted living facilities or even just independent living facilities for seniors don't have those types of regulations. There are some, but not nearly as intense. And so there is literally a 10-to-1 population of assisted living facilities in the United States to licensed nursing homes in the United States.
yeah.
10-to-1 because you just don't have the type of regulations, and you can still provide some care in assisted living, but it's really just help. Like you'll have, maybe
Yeah.
help with your medicine every day or things like that. And from what I understand, the people that are in the assisted living facility business, it's pretty lucrative. So I think you're going to just keep seeing that more and more.
No, of course, of course. So I know we kind of went on that little small sidetrack and everything like that, but in the competition in your space, like you said, you've become really successful, and not only to scale your business but also to provide that quality, right? The quality of care that you're providing and being able to really, like you said, the background checks. It might not be something that facilities that we're looking for, but now they're able to not only feed, their facilities and really help the elderly, because some of the money does go back to the facilities and to the businesses. So how do you think that sets you apart from other firms? Like how are you able to provide that care and that distinction of making sure that you don't have to always collect, and it's just quality residents into the facilities?
Yeah, well, everybody, that wants to have a safe environment for their loved ones to be in.
Mhm.
And so that it's really a good idea to know who you're admitting into your facilities. You don't want people who have been convicted of, say, sex offenses.
Right.
In fact, it's illegal in a lot of places to live near an elderly population if you're a convicted sex offender. And so
Oh,
how do you make sure people that you're admitting are going to be safe? There's something called the Patient's Bill of Rights, which Florida has, and there's a national one as well. And it obligates long-term care facilities to have a safe living environment for their residents. And so you need to make sure that the people that are going to be with your loved one, right, perhaps in the bed right next to them in a room, is going to be a safe person. So I think that's just common sense, right? So
right.
we have that, and we just want to make these are not, long-term care facilities can be kind of depressing,
Yeah.
and how do you create an enjoyment of life for people that are in difficult surroundings like that. So that's what we hope to be able to do with the medical collection group process. Something else that we're doing on the law firm side that is really, really exploding right now is guardianship work. And
Oh, okay.
this is something that people don't think about also. But when you put a loved one in a nursing home, most of the time there's going to be family helping. They're going to be making medical decisions and assisting with maybe getting on Medicaid or whatever for their resident, their loved one. But that doesn't happen all the time. And often, very sadly, what happens is someone will be admitted to a facility and basically abandoned. And when that happens and that person loses capacity, which we all do as we
Yeah.
age, there's nobody there to help make medical decisions for this resident or that government benefits or anything like that. And it's a difficult situation. And then the long-term care facility that's providing care safety for this person, they can't kick them out for not paying
Right.
bills or
Mhm.
not cooperating. So we are being called on now in a great deal of cases to get professional guardians appointed for these residents who don't have anybody else to help.
Yeah.
And that will continue to be a growing part of what we do. It's really exploded in the last few years, and it's just going to keep growing. So sadly, that's something that we do have to deal with. If you have an elderly parent or grandparent, be there for them. If they get moved out of their house and they go into a facility like that, it's important that they have family that help make decisions for them.
Yeah, it's I've worked in healthcare for almost a decade, so I definitely see it in the hospital. It's something where, like you said, having that guardianship of having someone to be able to make those decisions and make ethical decisions, and it's really hard. Even the ethics committee sometimes, and some hospitals only come around every once a month. So once you have someone who is able to really bring in that smooth transition to really help to make a great decision for quality of life, not just being alive. It's really hard. It's a hard, especially when you're by yourself. You have no one there to really watch over you. I definitely see a lot of that happening, and I really do appreciate that you have a law firm and a company and business that's really looking at that as a very wholesome. So
Right. Yeah. It really is a need
yeah,
and for people that need help, and it's nice to be able to help do a good thing. Lawyers don't always have the greatest reputation.
right.
And, it's nice to do good things for people that need help.
Yeah, always giving back. Paying it forward. It paves the way for not only other people to really see that, hey, this is a big need, but you can, like I said, you're able to show people that there are other lawyers and other people in the industry that shows that it's not all about being the bad guy. It's really showing and being able to help. So
Right. Absolutely.
what is one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome in creating this business? I mean, these challenges come through our lives to really hone in our strengths and growths. And what has that looked like for you so far?
Yeah, it's really it's the very fundamental thing about being an attorney, which is attorneys are generally speaking not very good business people,
Mm-hmm.
and because we don't think that way. We tend to think in worst case scenarios, and we're not particularly good business people, and so that means we're not particularly good at marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. We don't really think that way.
Right.
So that has been probably my biggest challenge. Is I'm an attorney. That's my career, but I'm also an entrepreneur. And
Mm-hmm.
how do you take that your career and entrepreneurialism and try to grow a successful business out of that? That's been a challenge because we're just not trained. I didn't take any business classes in college. I no marketing, no. I think I did take accounting one or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing about how to run a business. And so I've had to learn on my own, and it's been challenging, but it's also been kind of fun too. So I probably think of this business world very differently than some of your other guests who are, that's kind of the world that they inhabit. It's not really the way I was trained to think. So
Right.
that has been a bit of a challenge.
Well, it sounds like you've been doing it really well. I mean, it seems like it's not a crutch for you. It's something that you want to not only understand, hone in, but it seems like you excel in it. So, I mean, and that itself, the entrepreneurial side of you, it's something that like it seems like you just grasp. So yeah, the marketing might not be there, but it's just like Chick-fil-A, right? You don't need the marketing. Your numbers and your quality shows, and I think that's what it really hones in for everything for you.
Yeah, I mean, it has worked so far. There's no doubt about that. So,
Right.
If we can double our size, I'll be
Right.
that'll be great. If I could do that without any marketing assistance and just grow it organically, that would really be great. But I don't want it to take 20 years either. So
Right.
I'm considering some ways to sort of speed that up a little bit.
Okay. So as we talk about the personal growth and planning, it's interesting to consider how successful individuals like yourself plan not only about their business but in the future for their wealth and how they're able to really give back to their family. And how, if you don't mind me asking, how do you apply this foresight to your personal investments? Like, what does that look like in like your for the future growth?
Yeah, so we really put everything back into both of the businesses. We, have obviously estate planning and things like that we've
Right.
done, but there is, there's no real plan that we have. We have sort of thought about an end game on at least on the medical collection group side about
Right.
positioning that to be sold at some point in the future. Law firms are different. Law firms don't really sell. because it's really the lawyer. It's really the
Right.
person whose name on the door.
Mhm.
But that's, we're starting to get to the point in our lives where we're thinking about that. Now, I have a great advantage here because my daughter is also an attorney, and
Okay.
while she practices in a totally different area in commercial real estate.
Okay.
But if everything fell into place, it could be something that she would take over someday in the future,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have to worry about selling anything like that. We would be protecting our generational wealth
Yeah.
by passing it on to the next generation without having to convert what we have now into cash, right? So
Yeah.
that's certainly a possibility too.
Yeah. I know that. I mean, I definitely haven't been in that aspect of having like a law firm or anything like that. So I know, like you said, the name sells, and that's really good that you have a daughter, right? So now she's able to really, it might not be the Harrison, yeah, right, the Harrison law firm group. And I love
Right.
the fact that you can just kind of throw it in there, like, hey, just kind of nudge her on the side, say, hey, this is something that could be set up for you. So I really do.
We, I remind her about that occasionally.
Yeah. So so how is that? So is there like a different licensing? I know we're getting off track, but is there like a difference licensing from the real estate into your space also, or is it just a different teachings?
So on the real estate, we're not really in the.
I know, yeah, I know. There's like so I didn't know there was like a different like. Is there like different? How was that? How would that transition look like for her if she did?
I
For
see. I see.
yeah.
Okay. So, oh yeah, I got you. I got you. So, no, she's a licensed Florida attorney. There's no additional licensing or anything like that that's
Mhm.
required for her to transition from one area of practice to another.
Okay.
Of course it's difficult. The longer and longer somebody's in one area, the harder it is to get out of that.
Right.
Um, but no, there wouldn't be anything like that. That would just be a decision that she would make that I'm ready to make this jump.
Right.
And who knows? So we'll see. I'm kind of hopeful that she will, but she's young and she's enjoying what she's doing right now. She's with a very, very prestigious law firm.
Okay.
So I'm not pushing her.
Right. No, I love that. I love the fact that you have that. Always have her view in your mind. So I love
Yeah.
that. So,
Right.
as we're wrapping up this interview, is there any exciting initiatives or plans that's going to be happening within the next year or so?
Well, as I said, the guardianship world is something that is evolving.
Hmm.
And in Florida, I served in the state legislature for 6 years, and it seemed like at every session that I was in Tallahassee, there was some effort to do major revisions to Florida's guardianship statutes.
Okay.
And it is something that is in the news a lot because there's some bad apples out there,
Yeah.
and you hear about those stories, and the bad apples get all the attention, and then there'll be an effort to make revisions to our guardianship processes in Tallahassee. We watch that. I'm not a lobbyist or anything like that. I'm not involved in it anymore,
Mhm.
but I watch it because it will have an
Of
impact
course.
on some of what we do. And it's important for people to know that in that world of professional guardians, it's 99% they're very good people, and we shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater if there's some issues.
Right.
So we watch that, and I'm very interested in growing that part of my law firm because I do think that I think it presents great opportunities, and it really is a good service. Like I said, you're doing good things for people that really need help. So I'm very up on that part of
Mhm.
my practice, growing that, tying in the medical collection group service with that, potentially with more of that guardianship practice nationwide, is something that I really would like to do. We have an office in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. Uh,
Okay.
and my attorney up there is licensed in both North and South Carolina. And so we're taking advantage of that geographic region. That's becoming a hot spot for retirees as well.
Okay.
Upland South Carolina, and even the mountains of North Carolina are becoming really big areas for retirees. So I think there's going to be great growth potential in the future in that part of the country too.
Well, I mean, being able to really understand like they're all the South. I'm from the South. I'm born and raised in Tennessee, so I definitely seen a lot of people not only move there, but also move to, like you said, to the warmer areas where all the
Yeah.
retirees are going to go. They don't want to be in the cold times, right? No one wants to be shivering in the 50s, especially as you get older. So,
Yeah, and it used to be Arizona and Florida were the only states where people retired.
right.
And now people are deciding that we can still take advantage of pretty warm weather.
Mhm.
In the Carolinas, Texas, of course, is a retiree area too.
Mhm.
But we're seeing Tennessee. I think you're seeing migration in those areas,
Go ahead.
not just the traditional hotspots of Florida and Arizona.
Well, thank you very much for all your insight. If our viewers really want to see and try to understand, like, I see your growth and everything like that, like, are there specific social medias that you want them to go to, or you have like a website? I would love for them to really be able to really understand what you're doing a little bit more.
Sure. The easiest place to go is just medicalcollections.com.
Okay.
Uh, and that'll be the intro into if they go there and they get you get the contact information and all, and then that'll come to me, and then
Okay.
I'm happy to talk to anybody that is interested in this topic. Perhaps young budding entrepreneurs out there also who don't
Yeah.
have a background in that, but just need a little nudge to be brave and
Mhm.
start their own business. I would be very happy to help with that.
No, I love the fact that you're giving forward and you're able to really bring your insights to help them expand their mindset and their view on everything. So I
Great.
definitely want to see some people actually reaching out to you, and I want them to be not only knowledgeable but getting out of their comfort zone, and that's what makes a great entrepreneur. So,
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a fun journey for me, and I would love to help other people do it.
yeah, I would love for people to take that and run with it. And don't be scared of the guy with the Ferrari and he's asking, "Hey, hop in." Just hop in. And that's the thing. Just hop in. You never know what's gonna happen. So,
I have an F-150 pickup truck, not a Ferrari, but
hey,
same thing. Hop in, get on this journey.
hey, that's all that matters. It's a more comfortable ride in the F1.
Right. Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. It was a great time with you, and hey, Sean, I hope everything goes well, and I want to see you grow even more.
Awesome. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to everyone. Good luck with your show.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast. Got a success story to share? Visit pathwaystoprosperitypodcast.com/guest and apply today.